A long time ago, around the 9th century, in the heart of Africa, there was a wide and open land near Lake Chad. The area was dry in some places, green in others, with rivers and grasslands where cattle grazed. Many small tribes lived there, moving from place to place with their animals. Among them were the Kanembu people. They were strong herders and skilled traders. The Kanembu began to unite under one leader, and from this unity, a kingdom was born, Kanem. The early rulers were from the Duguwa dynasty. They built their capital at Njimi, a city close to the desert, but also near enough to fertile lands for farming and grazing. At first, Kanem was small, but it was in the perfect location, right in the middle of trade routes that crossed the Sahara Desert. This location would soon make it very rich. In the 11th century, a new royal family, the Saifawa dynasty, rose to power. They said they were descendants of a great Arab hero, Saif ibn Yazan, a warrior from Yemen whose name meant Sword of the Two Lions. The Saifawa kings began to expand Kanem's territory. They controlled the land north into the desert, west toward the Hausa lands, and south into areas with fertile soil. Control of the Saharan trade routes became their key to power. Caravans crossed the desert with salt from the Sahara, gold from West Africa, ivory from the forests, and slaves from raids. In exchange, they brought fine cloth, weapons, glass beads, and horses from North Africa and beyond. Kanem grew wealthy. Its armies, riding swift desert horses, could travel far and strike fast. Trade brought not only goods, but also ideas and beliefs. Muslim traders from North Africa introduced Islam to Kanem. By the 11th century, the rulers of Kanem accepted Islam and became Muslim kings, Mai. Islam brought new ways of governing. Laws were written using Sharia, Islamic law. Mosques were built in Njimi and other towns. Some rulers even sent their sons to study in Cairo, Timbuktu, or Mecca. Religion also brought diplomacy. Kanem's Muslim rulers were respected by other Muslim states, making alliances easier. One of the greatest rulers of Kanem was Mai Dunama Dabbalemi in the 13th century. He was a bold warrior and a devout Muslim. Under his leadership, the empire reached its largest size. He expanded Kanem into Fezzan, modern-day Libya, and the Hausa lands in northern Nigeria. He sent soldiers across the desert to protect trade caravans and keep the empire's enemies away. Dabbalemi also encouraged Islam. He built mosques, supported Islamic schools, and sent pilgrims to Mecca. He used the empire's wealth to reward loyal chiefs and keep his armies strong. Kanem was now one of the most powerful empires in Africa, feared by its enemies and respected by its neighbors. But even great empires face storms. In the 14th century, Kanem was attacked by a fierce group called the Bulala, who came from the east. The Bulala warriors fought fiercely and defeated Kanem's armies several times. The Saifawa kings were forced to abandon their capital, Njimi. They fled westward, crossing Lake Chad into the land of Bornu. The heartland of Kanem was lost. The Saifawa rulers refused to disappear. In Bornu, they built a new capital, Ngazargamu, and started rebuilding their power. Bornu was fertile and had rivers for farming and fishing. From here, the kings slowly regained control of the trade routes and even took back parts of Kanem. The new kingdom was now called the Bornu Empire, but the Saifawa dynasty still ruled. Kanem-Bornu became one of the most stable kingdoms in the region. In the 16th century, a brilliant and just ruler, Mai Idris Alooma, came to power. Alooma was not just a warrior, he was a reformer. He built canals to water the farms, introduced better farming tools, and encouraged farmers to grow more crops. He brought in guns and cannons from North Africa, making his army one of the strongest in Africa. Alooma made sure trade was safe. Caravans could travel without fear of attack. He also built beautiful mosques and made Islam the heart of Bornu's culture. During his rule, Bornu controlled vast lands, stretching into modern Chad, Niger, Cameroon, and Nigeria. It was truly a golden age. No empire lasts forever. By the 18th century, Kanem-Bornu began to weaken. Local chiefs became more independent and enemies grew stronger. In the early 19th century, the Fulani Jihad, led by Usman Danfodio, struck Bornu. Many lands were lost, but a strong leader named Muhammad al-Kanemi rose to defend what remained. He pushed back the Fulani and kept Bornu alive, but it was smaller and weaker than before. By the late 19th century, European colonial powers, Britain, France, and Germany, divided the lands of the old Kanem-Bornu Empire. The 1,000-year-old kingdom was no more. The Kanem-Bornu Empire lasted for over 1,000 years, making it one of the longest-lived kingdoms in African history. It was remembered for strong rulers who expanded and protected their lands, control of trade across the Sahara Desert, Islamic scholarship and cultural achievements. Even today, in the Lake Chad region, the history of Kanem-Bornu is told with pride, a reminder of a kingdom that rose from nomadic herders to a desert empire respected across Africa and beyond.